All right, we're live. Thank you so much, everybody, for your patience. We had just a slight delay, and thank you for bearing with us. Wink, wink. Sorry for the fun. Anyways, welcome to what's going to be another great DevNTell. So if you're new here, DevNTell is a 30-minute podcast for builders to showcase something they're passionate about or have been working on in Web3. This can be an awesome project we've been working on, demonstrating and testing best practices, automation goodies, smart contracts, our social project, etc. Basically, if you've got a passion for something, this is your opportunity to share it with the community. And today, I'm ecstatic to have Devin Bear, also known as Dev Bear on Twitter, who is part of the Berachain team, who's going to be giving us an overview of Berachain, who are on the heels of just launching their testnet yesterday, and it was quite the launch. Congratulations, Devin. Welcome to the show.
Oh, thank you for having me. Thank you for having me on, Narv. Appreciate it as always.
Yeah,
I know
my
we
pleasure.
went this like for I think back in July or June or something crazy.
Yeah. Yes. I believe last time you were on, you're with Josh Stein, who's doing some Celestia stuff, but at the same time, you were also doing some Berachain stuff there as well. So, yeah, it's great to have you on and to actually see what all the goodies are behind Berachain. But before we get into that, perhaps you'd like to give a brief introduction about yourself, if some folks didn't tune into the last DevNTell when you were on.
Yeah, absolutely. So a little bit of myself, Dev Bear, Devin Bear, whichever developer the bear I have in the office. I have literally 8 names, so I have to remember them all. And people will just say things, and it'll be like, "Is that me? Maybe?" Question mark. But a little background on myself technically. I was a distributed systems engineer at Apple. It's like where the bulk of my professional experience came from. I worked on like low level like P2P stuff. So when I got into crypto, it was kind of like, oh, this is all like super familiar. Started Berachain with my co-founder Smokey and Papa about almost 2 years ago now, which is kind of crazy. And we've just been kind of doing a lot of cool stuff then, and it's been super exciting to finally see all of that hard work and pay off and be able to share it with you guys.
Yeah, and it looked like an astounding amount of work that went into it. Just looking at the revamped website, up only, very clever. You had to scroll up on the website too,
Yeah, is my screen
figure out all the things. Yes, we
go?
can add the screen there. Yes, this is what I
Beautiful.
meant. Up only.
Let's do it up.
Uh,
Yeah,
um,
so this is
yeah,
the
yeah.
review page. I'm sure you guys have seen that really blank one for a very long time. So it's good that we were finally able to update that one, which is nice. We also have like some links on the front page to all the different dapps and stuff. So just I don't know what's happening here. So you have all the links here. So if you want to try out any of the native dapps, if you want to check out the Block Explorer, the Faucet, anything, it's all here, which is awesome. We got links to the docs. For this being a DevNTell, we got the players repo on there as well. And then we also have a list of quests. Right now we have Galaxy enabled, and basically it's like a set of to-dos and just kind of a quest that you go on in order to kind of explore the Berachain ecosystem, and it takes you through a bunch of that stuff. So it's been super exciting. We have a ton of different dapps, and they all have full front ends and integrations and stuff there. As well as the Block Explorer, which we've been working with. All the internet's brutal here, but the Block Explorer, which we've been working with the guys over at RouteScan to get on board, and it's been good and doing well there. So
Excellent.
yeah.
I guess before we get into some of the nitty-gritty of what you launched yesterday, perhaps for our audience who isn't familiar, can you give a brief rundown of what Berachain is, why you guys built it, and just some high-level stuff for the audience?
Yeah, absolutely. So Berachain is an EVM-compatible L1. Built on Cosmos SDK. So what we did is we took the base Cosmos SDK, and then we built our own EVM framework that integrates full EVM compatibility with it. That is, as many people in the dev community know, as Polaris, which I think that takes us to the docs, but honestly, the GitHub's a little better. And it's still here. So this is Polaris. This is our EVM framework. So you can plug in EVM compatibility into any Cosmos blockchain, which is super exciting. But the meat of Berachain isn't Polaris, but is the proof of liquidity system. And the idea behind proof of liquidity is we align like security and liquidity. So validators are responsible for basically maintaining liquidity, and the chain itself is secured by liquidity incentives through the form of BGT. And BGT is like this non-purchasable token, non-transferable, non-purchasable, and it basically represents like a unit of governance or a unit of consensus power. That's like the way you can conceptually think about it. And the only way to get BGT is through providing liquidity. So that allowed us to basically make the value that is securing the network a unit of liquidity, and by so you get the actual chain secured by liquidity. And the motivation for this was that we noticed through kind of the Alt-1 cycle of 2021 and 2022 to some extent, that a lot of these like Alt-1s didn't really have like a sustainable tokenomics model, right? You would just stake a bunch of their token, and with slashing these days really just being, if you're staking with an honest node, it's really just if they didn't configure something right or there's an outage. It was pretty much just ironically up only, right? If you denominate your thing in L1 token here, you just get more of L1 token at an 8% whatever. And the way you can think about it is you can think about it as the inflation that you're getting for staking is really just an anti-dilutionary method for your network ownership, right? Like if 100% of the tokens are staked and the inflation is 10%, right, you just keep whatever percentage you had. So if you had 5% stake, you just have 5% network ownership forever. What proof of liquidity does, and the main novelty proof of liquidity, is it decouples that, right? So now we have it so that network ownership is a function of how much liquidity you've provided over time. So if I have, the example I always use is, let's say I have 5% of network ownership today, but I'm providing 0 liquidity. Over time, my 5% will get diluted, as the limit approaches infinity, to 0. And that's the idea here. Conversely, if I come to Berachain with no BGT and I start providing 5% of the liquidity, as time goes to infinity, I end up with 5% of network ownership. So we've been able to correlate network ownership over time with the actual liquidity that's providing. And that's kind of the big novelty there, is that the amount of ownership that you have today at this point in time is kind of irrelevant, because it really trends towards the amount of liquidity that you're holding. And that's the big novelty there.
Gotcha. And I suppose, is there any special use cases you see Berachain kind of providing for, or is it like another general purpose blockchain that can do all the things?
So it's kind of both. We have like a variety of dapps that are built into the chain and revolve around our native stablecoin Honey. So we have like a way to borrow Honey. We have a way to kind of trade Honey. We have the DEX. We have like a PSM model that's built in. But really the idea is that we've built these core dapps as a way to facilitate kind of the beginning of the ecosystem and be able to have dapps build into the chain, right? So the other thing is, if let's say you pass a governance vote, we have full on-chain governance that's supplied via the governance module on Cosmos. You could actually have it to like your protocol is like earning BGT as a part of like being in this system. Or if your protocol is delegating liquidity, there's lots of options there. And we really see Berachain in this kind of core economic system that's built around proof of liquidity to be a way to like kickstart protocols building on the chain, so that they don't necessarily have to bootstrap liquidity as hard. They can use it to attract users. They can use it to run a validator. They can use that validator to direct emissions to liquidity pools that they care about. And the validators really play a big role in this whole system. And the thing that this system does is it allows protocols building to really eventually end up being validators and work with validators in order to route these BGT emissions around. And that's really the cool thing, is when you deploy an app on Berachain, you're not just deploying an app on Berachain, you can deploy an app that really is integrated with Berachain and the base layer, and in a non-trivial sense. And that is kind of the big selling point to a lot of these protocols, is they really feel like they're not just building on the chain, but are really involved in the chain and its validator set and its governance and those type of things, which is really great from a community aspect as well.
Yeah, it certainly is. You get all that core functionality out of the box when you deploy on Berachain. It looks like it. I guess if I were somebody brand new to Berachain, I know there's quite a bit here to unravel, but what would you kind of walk through as like the stepping stones to get going with Berachain?
Yeah, so the first thing I would do is I would probably just go. Let's say this user went to Berachain.com, walk through like what the new user, maybe what the new user experience is like here. So what we can actually end up doing is here my MetaMask will load, which it's struggling. Switch over to the right network because I believe I'm on a test network at the time. Wow, my computer is struggling. Let's just get a new, we'll add a new wallet here. Let's say DevNTell wallet. You're gonna have to switch to the right network too, but it might do it automatically. Yeah, so we'll get a new wallet here going. Give me a second here. It's going. So basically, what you do is you want to go over to the faucet. That would be kind of the first thing. And the faucet right now, it may work, it may not. We're dealing with a ton of bot traffic right now. So if this doesn't go through, I apologize. We're working with a variety of RPC services and stuff, but we got a lot of bots on right now. So what you'd want to do is you'd want to open your MetaMask, copy your guy in here, and then click and prove that you're not a bot. Then from there, you want to drip some tokens. It may work. Oh, there we go. It worked, and then we got the anti-spam. So it might not go through. We'll see. The office IP address is also getting really jammed, so it might not go through. But if not, we can grab another wallet or just kind of do the walkthrough and kind of go from there. Let's see if it's going. We're getting really hammered right now, but yeah, we'll just walk through the regular pages then. So then from there, there's lots of different dapps you can play with. So we got like Bex. So Bex is the ability to you can swap tokens, you can add liquidity here. So you get kind of your faucet tokens. You could do some swaps here. We have a variety of different pools and stuff that you can play around with. You could create a pool, you can do a swap. There's lots of kind of cool stuff you can do here. The other applications we have is we have Bend. So Bend is the way that you can actually earn honey, which is super cool. Or sorry, you can borrow honey. So you can think of it as kind of like a way to, if I have a bunch of assets and I want to get honey out, I don't just need to use a US. I don't have to just swap for them. I can borrow them there. The other thing, we've got a couple other things as well. We got the actual honey minting app as well, which is super awesome. So you're able to take a variety of tokens. Right now it's just kind of testnet USDC, but you're able to kind of mint honey that way. And we also have like a fun arcade mode as well, which is people tend to like it. Which is kind of
honey. Just for clarification, is the stable coin in the ecosystem? I'm not mistaken. Cool.
Yes, honey is a stable coin. So that's why we have like that PSM model. You can also borrow for it, which is super cool there. And then we also have our Burps platform, which is all backed by basically synthetics, and it uses honey under the hood. So you're basically what's really cool about it is it has really great liquidity because you're basically just trading against yourself. Which is really nice. It's it kind of you can imagine that the synthetic positions are basically like over collateralized CDPs, and you're basically just trading with yourself, which is really cool because you don't end up with order book issues. You don't end up with situations where like you can't close a position because there's insufficient liquidity or there's some kind of order book issue. You're really just playing with yourself, which is really nice. And all of the margin and stuff comes from basically users supplying that liquidity in a common DEX pool type thing. So that's really cool there. Yeah, right now we got some. We don't have too many pairs right now, but right now we have what do we got? We got BTC, ETH, Atom, and TIA. And what's super cool about this is, in the spirit of Berachain being a Cosmos chain, we're able to integrate lots of cool things. Notably, the one Oracle solution that we're using right now in the testnet, we worked in collaboration with the guys over at Skip. So what's really cool is the validators themselves are actually providing these Oracle prices, and they're able to access, and the EVM is able to access them. So it's really nice because the security of the Oracle is tied to the security of the chain as well. So we kind of have an Oracle that's also secured by liquidity, which is really, really cool. But I can pull up that repo, or actually I think that repo is still private, so I'm not going to pull that one up. But yeah, so that's super exciting there. And this is all powered by the new Cosmos SDK. So we're running on the latest version of Cosmos SDK, Eden, or 0.5 if anyone in the audience is in the Cosmos ecosystem and familiar with it. And this is all enabled by vote extensions. So vote extensions basically allow validators to include additional information on their block headers effectively, that allows for them to come to consensus on things that are not necessarily something you can originally come to consensus on. So let's say, in a traditional blockchain, you come to consensus on like what the state root is post the block. But what vote extensions allows you to do is it allows you to like inject like Oracle prices, for instance. So basically you allow, so every validator can submit different votes, which typically in a regular blockchain is not allowed, right? Like everyone, if you want to come to consensus, everyone needs to have the same value. But with vote extensions, it allows us to do things like, okay, well, like 100 people, submit prices, and then, we take the average of those prices, and that's where we go. So you're kind of extending your vote with something that is allowed to be non-deterministic by nature. So it allows you to oracles are a great use case of this, right? Like every validator submits a different value, and you just find, you have to be within a standard deviation of each other, or that takes an average or median or something like that. But it can even get even crazier than that. Let's say you wanted to, submit bundles, or you wanted to submit like MEV bundles, like you wanted to package transactions and pass instructions on chain and things like that. So it's a really versatile piece of infrastructure, piece of tooling that the oracles utilize today. So it's been cool. They're also really responsive because you're getting Oracle updates literally every block. So you get very, very fresh prices, and that's been great for especially something like a synthetic perpetuals platform where pricing and stuff is really important.
Interesting. And what is the extent of the capabilities for the oracles? Do they only provide price data, or can you connect external API to them as well to bring off-chain data inside?
Yeah, so they're fully generalizable. Right now, we're just using it for pricing data. But the benefit to being an oracle is as long as it is something that we can, come to consensus on in some regard, it works, right? So you could add anything, right? Like let's say we wanted to create an oracle for, is it sunny today in, Orlando, right? As long as the validators are able to submit a value where, like, maybe for something like that where it's just binary, is it sunny or not, right? The validators have to submit yes it's sunny or no it's not sunny, right? As long as we can do some sort of vote aggregation, like, yes no is really easy, right? You just say, do we have 67% that say yes? Okay, it's yes. That's like a kind of a trivial example, but you can do lots and lots of things. People think of oracles, especially in blockchain generally, as pricing data, but really oracles in blockchain are, as you said, are right, bringing off-chain data to on-chain, and as long as it's something we can run a vote on, it's doable.
Nice. We do have a couple questions from the crowd. Just want to get these in, just in case we missed them.
Just so we can.
Sure thing. So once the commented, how will bridges work? Does the governance token get burned on outflows? Will bridge protocols end up governing the chain?
That's a really interesting question. Right now, bridging is we're working with a few solutions. We're kind of in the last phases there. But basically, like if you wanted to like bridge are you saying like bridge your governance token, like or any token? Like if I wanted to move like BGT, is that kind of what the question is? Or?
That's how I understand. Once to comment, please. You can comment further to verify, but let's assume the governance token only.
Yeah, so the governance token you wouldn't be able to bridge unless someone were to make you like a synthetic or something. But the governance token in its natural form is non-transferable, and you can't purchase it. So you wouldn't be able to bridge it.
Gotcha. Great question there. Next question is, does Berachain connect to Celestia nodes?
As of now, I think it's we do a lot of work with Celestia. We know the guys over there very well. We're very, very close to them. Right now, in its sense, Berachain is truly an L1. So Berachain is an L1 that's secured by liquidity, and that's the type of security that is the goal of it. That being said, right, I think there's a lot of interesting things that can happen when it comes to data availability in general, and I think we're definitely exploring things with Celestia to figure out things that work. Love the guys over there, but yeah, we are secured by liquidity for now. That's where our security comes from.
Gotcha. And wants to comment clarified. He meant any token, not just governance.
So yeah, bridging is something that we have bridging partner for that we're going to be working with, as well as we're also exploring how we can integrate IBC. We get this question a lot, so I think I can just bring it up now. We want to make sure that when we enable IBC, that it's something that is the dev UX is there. IBC with EVM chains has its difficulties, and we want to make sure that when we get there, the dev UX is solid and the security is there.
Beauty. And Ahmed asks, what is HoneyList?
Unfortunately I have to skip that question.
I
But
see.
Yeah.
But I guess a stay tuned kind of thing.
HoneyList is a solid meme from the Discord.
Oh, I see. Gotcha. I suppose going through all of this, all of the really cool stuff that you guys released yesterday, I'm sure it was quite an experience just going through that. You mentioning you being a distributed systems engineer at Apple and starting Berachain. I guess maybe do you want to speak to what your experiences were like doing that transition, and just if there are any like hopeful people in the crowd that are looking to do the same thing and maybe start their own company or startup.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing that allowed me to succeed in that regard was I genuinely enjoyed what I am doing, right? Like when I started getting into playing around with Geth and Cosmos and these things, it was something that it was like it was fun, right? Like I would, come home after work and like be excited to, play around with these code bases and do things. And I think that's a big part of how, even Berachain to some extent is where it is today, is the people that, not only myself, but the people that are helping build this all really genuinely enjoy blockchain, and it's something they were passionate about. Speaking on myself, it's working on these systems, blockchain and getting into the space really helped me like refine my passion for software engineering. I found working in a big corporate company did help get my skills to a base ground level. Yes, absolutely. Did I learn a lot about how working in a corporate environment works, and how these big professional companies run? Absolutely. But I really think that it really re-sparked my love for software engineering in general, and computer science and all those things. And I think finding that passion was kind of it, I would say. So I think like even if it's not in crypto, even if your passion is not in crypto and you work at a FANG company now, or a mid-sized company or whatever, I think kind of the general thing is that like in order for you to be successful, not only the company to be successful, but your own personal goals and stuff to feel accomplished, is finding something that you're passionate about, finding a way to take that passion into something that has product market fit or can be marketed to users, or whatever it is, and just double down on learning how to build that and then building it.
Yeah, that's an awesome way to kind of tell the story there. And I would just add that if you're on the fence, just start, just like build something and get it out there, and just like see what the reaction is from people. Even if there is no reaction, just the fact that you started already puts you ahead of so many other people who are afraid to start. But yeah, that's great to hear there. There are a couple more questions that crowd is asking, so we can continue to entertain those. Is there a method to acquire test tokens for running the validator node on RTO testnet? We will be excited to provide our own RPC as well from the nodes.
Yes. So in terms of running a validator, our DevRel team will be communicating more things in the next little while with respect to that. In terms of acquiring testnet tokens, in order to acquire the testnet tokens to actually like interact with the chains of Bera, you can use that faucet link. It's rto.faucet.berachain.com. There's a lot of rate limits on it right now. It's getting hit really heavy by bots. The engineering team is literally above my head right now working on solving that. And if there's any issues there, please just be patient with us. But if you try a few times, you will eventually get through. In terms of validators and getting the tokens required to run a validator, BGG, we will communicate that in the next kind of 24, 48 hours.
Excellent. Awesome. And the next question, I kind of forgot to touch on myself, being a Canadian myself. Is the majority of the team working in person or in Toronto, or are you remote, hybrid?
Yeah, so a lot of our business team is globally distributed, so kind of all over the place. Engineering, a lot of it is in Toronto at the moment, yeah, that's kind of where we're at now. Having a business team globally distributed has been a really powerful advantage for us. Being able to have them in the ground on places at conferences, those type of things, has been a non-starter for us. On the other side, though, having a lot of the engineering team in one place has been really strong. It allows us, especially yesterday, being able to make sure that the communication is there, making sure that when problems arrive, you can get the person who needs to fix it immediately. Has been really strong there.
Excellent. And I said Canadian, not comedian. If my Canadian was jumbled there. Anyways, I guess on this point on the engineering team and the distributed business team, are you guys hiring? And then are there any particular roles that you're looking for? We are a developer DAO after all. There are a lot of really great up and coming devs and product folks and more in the space. Is there a way that people, or is there a particular skill set that you're looking for or looking to hire?
Yeah, always looking for more engineers. We have careers.berachain.com. Absolutely submit a resume. We'd love to take a look at anyone's resume who's interested. In terms of roles on the engineering side, I can speak of. We're still looking for more core protocol devs. Still looking for anyone with like strong infrastructure experience. Those are kind of the two biggest things we're hiring for now. Just really trying to build out a more robust team, a deeper team as we get closer and closer to our mainnet. That's the big thing there.
Excellent. Yeah, folks, if you're interested, Berachain is it's got a lot going on, so you definitely want to check them out. I guess coming up on time here, just so folks are able to kind of get support if they start playing around with the testnet and deploying smart contracts. What's the best way for them to kind of get in touch with the Berachain community? Is there a Discord? Should they interact on Twitter? What would you recommend?
Yeah, hop into the Discord for sure. Twitter's good. I would say those are the two biggest things.
Excellent. And we have the Twitter link in the YouTube description. We'll also work on getting the Discord link and added there as well for everybody's convenience. And I guess with that, want to thank you so much, Devin, for coming on. I really appreciate you taking the time in this, what is a hectic time, I'm sure, at the Berachain side of things. But yeah, really looking forward to continuing to see the Berachain ecosystem grow. And yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Nord. Appreciate you having me on. Cheers,
My
everyone.
pleasure. And before everybody leaves, I want to share the QR code for you to scan to claim your NFT for being an attendee here on DevNTell today. So what you want to do is grab your regular QR code scanner, scan this code, and you'll have an hour and a half from now to be able to claim your NFT, which will be airdropped to you within the next couple of days. And with that, just want to wish everybody a very happy Friday, happy weekend, and we'll catch you all back here next week for another DevNTell. All right. Cheers, gang.